Hi everyone, my name is Dina, and today I am back with another unboxing and short tutorial video. Today's unboxing is going to be the Adornable Elements' Beads of the Month Club. This is the rotating beads of the month, so this month we're going to do the 2-hole beads, and it's named Stormclouds. Now this box is actually gifted to me from Adornable Elements in return for unboxing videos as well as tutorial videos. So as you know, I like to always do my unboxing as well as a short tutorial. So at the end of this one, we'll be doing the other set of this earring. And then I'll come back in a couple of weeks or so and I will do a more in-depth video. So if you're interested in this, you would like to get the same type of beads that I get on a monthly basis, you can go to the link down below to Adornable Elements' website and type in the coupon code DINA10, that's DENA10, and you'll get 10% off your first monthly subscription. That way you'll end up getting the same type of beads that I get on a monthly basis as well, so you can follow along. So if you're interested, come back and meet me, and then we'll go through all the separate beads so you can see which ones you get this month, and then at the end of the unboxing, we'll go through this tutorial. I'll meet you back in a second. Alright, so now I'm back. So these are the beads that you'll end up getting in this month's subscription box called Stormclouds. Again, it's the 2-hole Beads of the Month Club. And like I'd said in the first clip, I do the rotating Beads of the Month. Now, that means that each month you will get a different type of box from Adornable Elements. And they have 6 different types that will rotate through. This is the 2-hole Beads in the Month Club. We'll also get Hot and Trendy beads, Fire Polish beads, 11O Delicas, 11O Sea beads, and then Gemstone beads of the month. So they offer several different types, and I chose the rotating beads of the month so that way I can produce different types of videos for you. So this is the Stormclouds. I think I've said that 2 or 3 times now, but this is the Stormclouds. So the first bead that you're going to end up getting is the Matte Metallic Dark Blue Samos Parpuca bead. Now Puka is a lady, I believe she lives in France, that produces beads, and so she names all of her beads something and then says Parpuca, which I means by puka, if I remember correctly. I never took French in high school. I took German, so I don't know that much, and I don't remember that much German either, so please don't ask me to start talking German. But anyways, so the Samos beads, they are a flat bead on one side and then a rounded dome on the other side. And then you have the 2 holes, just like all the beads in this month's club, you're going to have 2 holes. So you have 1 hole going up in the top of the bead, and 1 hole going down here in the bottom of the bead. Beautiful color. That's probably my favorite color out of this pack. Now this next bead I've never used before. So this is going to be fun trying to come up with some ideas on what to do. So more than likely I'll probably use this bead in my more in-depth tutorial later in the month. But this is the Alabaster Vertical Cradle. You get 7 grams of this, and I forgot to say you get 7 grams of this one as well, the Parpuca bead. So you get 7 grams of the cradle bead, and this one is kind of shaped like a bow when you look at it on the side, but then when you look at it top and down like that, then you have your holes, your 2 holes that are sitting there. So again, I've never used this bead before, so it's going to be fun trying to come up with something to use that. I always like a challenge. And then your next one is going to be your Chalk Blue Luster Baroque Cab. Now this is a 2-hole cabochon, excuse me, where cabochons are always flat on the bottom and then domed up on the top again. Just kind of similar to like the puka bead, but this one is more of a rounded bead. You still have the 2 holes. You got a 1 hole going in that direction, and then a parallel hole somewhere over here. I can't seem to find at the moment. There we go. With my needle. But you have one up here at the top, and then you have the other one down here at the bottom. So that's your 2-hole cabs. And I like that color too because it's like a light bluish gray, and then it's overlaid with a darker, almost metallic blue to it. So it gives it a little bit more of a, the appearance of like maybe a gemstone or a sparkly bead or something. So you get 7 grams of that. This next one is Luster Transparent Blue Tile Beads. You get 25 pieces of these. These are square-shaped beads that are transparent see-through blue. And you have 1 hole at the top and then 1 hole down here at the bottom. And these type of beads, when they're transparent like that, you probably want to use a crystal or a white colored thread. And that way, unless you want your colored thread to shine through, but if you're not wanting it to shine through, then you'll definitely need to use either a crystal or a white colored thread to help out with that. Now your next one are the jet suede blue chevrons. You get 20 pieces of these. And then from my opening clip, you can tell that I use these in my earring. So these are little chevron beads where they have the point on one side and then an opening on the other. You have 1 hole going in this direction, the other hole is going in this direction here. And they're the same on both sides, so there's no differences. The next one are probably some of my favorite beads. I have so many daggers in my possession that my husband says I need to start getting rid of some of these things. So this one is going to be the Luster Transparent Blue Dagger. You get 25 pieces of these. Just like all the others, they are 2 holes. So you've got 1 hole that is up here closer to the tip. And then you have another hole that's a couple of millimeters down, a little bit, a little bit down further from that first hole. And then those are your daggers. These are really great for drops in earrings, drops or fringe type things, in necklaces. You can even use them in bracelets to make it a little bit more in-depth type of bracelet as well. Your bag number 7 is going to be black and white gray luster duet super duos. Now these super duos are gray on one side. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. Gray on one side and then black on the other. So if I turn that black one over, then you'll see the gray. And pretty much every single one of them is just about half and half, as you can kind of see right there with the one that I'm trying to hold up. Yay, it stayed up. But just like a normal super duo, you have 2 holes. You got one right there, and you have another one over here. So these type of super duos I love to use in bracelets, and then have your super duos all going in one direction as far as color is concerned. And then you can potentially make a reversible bracelet sometimes. Or if you look at it from the right side, like if you were to pick these up with the black, like that, if you look at it from the right, you always see the black. But if you look at it from the left, then you see the gray. It just makes for a very interesting and dynamic type bracelet design. So I like to use those in bracelets a lot. And then the last bead is the other bead that we're going to use in our earrings today. These are backlit crystal gem duos. Now gem duos are a diamond shaped bead, and they are flat on the back side, and then they're domed on the front or on the top side. You have 2 holes. They both go towards the tips of the beads. So you have one down there at the bottom, and then you have the second one up here at the top. Now in order to get that crystal shine to come through, you see this silver backing that's on the back side of the gem duo. On the interior portion of that is where they put the color in order to get whatever color to shine through. And it makes it look like it's reflecting through the bead. So the bead itself is crystal, but then you get the color as depending on what type of coating that they put on the back of the bead. And then it shines through the top of the bead. So this one just happens to be just another crystal or silver color. But these are very pretty, very reflective. There again, you can see your thread going through it because it's very transparent. Like I said, it's a crystal bead. So if you want to not see the bead or the thread going through your beads, then definitely use a white colored thread. That's why I have white on my needle right now. So those are the beads that you would get in this month's club. So if you would like, you can meet me back in just a minute and we will start our earring. Alright, so let's go through the materials that you'll need. So we are going to be using the chevron beads that came in the club, as well as the gem duos. Then I have Miyuki 11-0 seed beads sitting here in a blue, what is it called? Ruby lined capri blue color. Hey, the name gets cut off, so not quite sure if it has something else to it, but it's ruby lined capri blue. It is Miyuki's number, if you're interested in that, is number 358. If you have that one at home, then you can follow along with that too. If you don't have this color, then any type of neutral color would work. Any type of blue that goes along with this color, the lighter color blue, even silver color beads, even a white colored bead, anything like that. Some sort of a neutral color would go along really well with this. You're also going to need an ear wire of choice. I'm just using one of my stainless steel ear wires that I have here at the house. You'll need a needle and some thread. And then I am using, there it goes, I'm having issues with it, with my camera focusing. But I am using Dragonthread in the crystal color, and it's the size 8, Dragonthread size 8. And then I'm also using just a pony style beading needle. Just whatever needle you're comfortable with using. As far as how much thread, an arm span is going to be perfectly fine as far as how much that you're going to need. So to start off, we're going to make our loop at the top of our earring first. So we're going to make this little loop. So pick up 5 seed beads. Whoops. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then pull them down to the end. Now I have way too much thread already on my needle because I was not sure how much I was going to end up using in the sample part, so I always put too much on my needle. So go back through those 5 beads, and then to finish off the loop, oops, I lost hold of it. To finish off the loop, just go back through that first bead one more time, just like that. And then when you pull tight, your loop should look something like that. So now we're going to go down the side of our earring. I'll keep this off to the side a little bit so I can see what I'm doing too. Now this, if the orientation is kind of wonky for you, that's perfectly fine. You can do exactly what I'm doing here. You can set your beads out in a way so you know that your gem duo, the flat side is on the bottom, is laying down on the mat, as well as these guys, the chevrons. Now if the chevrons had a coating on one side, like a different color or something like that, then you would have to make sure that your color is in the right direction too. Now we're coming out of this bead of our circle on the right hand side. So my starter thread is over here off to the left, and then we're going to go down the right hand side of the earring. So with that being the case, then we're going to need to pick up our things on this side. So the holes that are up on the top when you have it laying down in this fashion. Before I do that, I forgot we need to have 3 seed beads. So pick up 3 seed beads before you pick up your bead, your chevron, and then your gem duo, and then your chevron. So you want your chevrons to basically be hugging your gem duo. And then pick it up in that fashion. And then when you bring it all down, it'll look kind of like a jumbled mess. But we're going to make it look nicer. Don't worry. So now we're going to pick up 7 seed beads. 4, 5, 6, and 7. And we're coming out of that right hand hole that we just went through. We're going to jump around to the left hand hole. So we're coming out of the right here, and then we're going to round around and go back through the left hand hole. If you can catch on to the other 3 beads, or the other 2 beads, and go through your chevron duo, gem duo, and the chevron again, go ahead and do it if you can catch on to it. If you're a little new at this and don't know exactly which holes that you're going through, or if it's not lining up correctly, just take it 1 bead at a time. It still works out, just take it 1 bead at a time. So now we need to make this portion look similar to this portion down up here at the top. So we already have 4 beads sitting here. We have the 3 that we added, and we have the bead number 4 that's in our loop. So we're just going to add 3 more seed beads to finish out this side. And then I'm going to go back through the seed bead in the loop. And then that puts more seed beads like that. So now we're going to go back through and make this look a little bit nicer before we move to the next section. So we're going to go back through the original 3 seed beads, go back down the holes on the right hand side, and there again, if they're not lining up correctly, just take it one at a time if you have to. And then remember that we added 7 seed beads down here. We're going to go through just the first 3, and we're going to make that 4th bead stick out more like a picot. In order to do that, I'm going to pop this out just a little bit. In order to do that, we're going to skip over bead number 4. So we're coming out bead number 3, and then we're skipping bead number 4, and we're going through beads number 5, 6, and 7. Now if you're unfamiliar with the picot, or if you have problems with your beads popping out, I'll show you this little trick. I pull my thread down close to the beads itself, then I take my needle and I just rest my needle in the bead that I want it to pop out in. So just make sure that your needle is not intertwining in the thread, not going in and out of the thread by accident. So make sure that the thread is either behind your needle or in front of your needle. It doesn't matter which one, just make sure that it's not, your threads or your needle's not going back through that loop. So hold on to your, don't go back through this, just hold your needle right like that. This is the working thread, so I'm going to pull on it, and as I do, that needle helps to keep that bead in more of a picot style, and now you have a little picot bead. So now we need to do the same thing up here. So we're going to continue down the left hand side. I'm turning it in my hands a little bit so it's easier for me to go through. Go back through those first 3 seed beads. We're going to skip through, trying to get my starter thread out of the way. We're going to skip through bead number 4, which is the bead that's in the loop. And we're going to go through beads number 5, 6, and 7. Ouch! And I just poked myself with a needle. Lovely! And then when you pull down, then your beads sit more in a little bit of a picot there. So now we need to get back down to this bead down here. So go back through, again, your holes on the right hand side. Now we're starting to get a couple passes through these beads, so you may have to take it 1 bead at a time. Just wiggle your needle through. Don't force it. If you force it, you have a chance of breaking your beads, because these beads are glass, and they will break if there's enough force on them. Come on, there it goes. So you just have to kind of wiggle your needle through and just take your time. And then we're going to get down to that peak. So we're going to go through the first 3 seed beads and then come out bead number 4. Now we're essentially going to do the same thing that we just did here, just in the opposite direction. So now we're going to start off with our beads on the left. So lay your beads out if you need to, making sure everything is in the correct orientation, just like that. Don't forget to pick up your 3 seed beads like I did in the first half. So pick up your 3 seed beads. Now we're going down the left hand side. Now if this is confusing to you, you can always orient it in this direction. So now we're going to go through the left hand side beads. or holes. So pick up your 3 beads, your chevron, your gem duo, and your other chevron. And then I like to try to hold it in my hand to where everything is facing upwards, so I know I'm going to go through everything in the correct direction. If you didn't notice in that clip, that started to do that, and this is the back side of the gem duo. I want the front side of the gem duo of that first section sitting upwards, so it's a little bit easier for you to go through and know which way is which way is the correct side. So we're on the bottom, so add 7 seed beads. And then go back through the right hand holes. So the chevron, the gem duo, and the chevron. Now we're back at the top, so we add 3 more seed beads. Then we want to go back through bead number 4. And then now we're going to round ourselves around to the side, so that way we can make this bead stick out in a picot more again. So continue through the 3 seed beads on the left, the first ones that we added in this section, down the chevron, gem duo, chevron on the left hand side, through the first 3 seed beads that we added out of the 7. I'm already through the first one. Now here again, I'll do this again for you just in case it did not make sense the first time. So go back, skip over bead number 4, go back through beads number 5, 6, and 7, pull your thread to where it's almost to the bead. Make sure your needle is not going back through the thread again, but just catch on to the bead that you want to be sticking out, and then pull on your working thread, and then that helps to set your picot bead. Now all we have to do is just get back up here to the top to tie off. So continue through the right hand side of the gem duo, or the chevron gem duo chevron combo, and I caught on to one of the seed beads, which is fine because that's where we're going next. Go through the next 2 seed beads, and if you want to, you can always make this stand out a little bit more as a picot too. I'm just going to skip over that this time. I did that with the last one too. But you can go back through and just skip over number 4 and then go back through these first 3 seed beads and then come back around again if you want to. But I'm going through bead number 4. I'm flipping into my hands, so I'm going back towards the top of the earring again. So this is the next set of 3 seed beads. Go through these holes of the chevron, gem duo, and chevron. Here again, there's a lot of thread going through here, so you just have to be careful with it. Wiggle your needle through. And sometimes it's just that the holes of the beads aren't exactly lined up, so you just have to figure out how to get your needle through them. And then our beginning thread, starter thread, is up here right next to that bead that we used in the loop. So we need to continue through the first 3 seed beads, and then if you can, get your needle come out towards the back of the product. Don't go through the loop like I almost did. Okay, so that's coming out the back side, and then now all you do is just tie off. Now the way that I tie it off is I have my shorter thread in my left hand, I have my longer thread in my right hand. I make a loop to where the shorter thread goes over the longer thread and then comes through that loop towards me. Of course, this is crystal thread, so it's really hard to see, but that loop is coming towards me, and then I pull tight, and then I do the opposite. I hold it to where the shorter thread is going over the longer thread, but it's going through the loop going away from me. And then I pull tight without going through any other beads. Okay, good, I missed them. And then that's all you do there. So from this point, you just take a thread burner, making sure that's tight. You just take a thread burner, you burn this off close to the edge, and on the earring you probably want to make it probably around an like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch, and then you just take your thread burner and ball up the end of the thread close to the knot. Try not to go through the knot. I have done that in the past and burned through my product and had to start over. So that's your back side of your earring. So now we're going to add the ear wire. Now in most of my videos that I do with earrings, I usually use wire guards instead of a seed bead loop. I just used a seed bead loop today just because it was easier. It was less amount of items that you needed to have on hand. And pick out your ear wire, whichever one that you want. This one I'm just using the fish hook. So I'm twisting open the earring. So it's, see how it's twisted open now. Now this is the back side of my earring, so I want to make sure that the front side is facing frontwards. So I'm going to put the earring through the loop. And in this case, I want to make sure that my little loop or the ear wire goes through the loop to where you have 2 seed beads on either side of the loop for the ear wire. And then that's just to make sure that it sits evenly while you're wearing it. And then you just twist closed the loop on the ear wire again. Now these are stainless steel ear wires, so sometimes they're a little bit harder to maneuver. And then there is your earring complete. So there is the set. Alright, so that is the unboxing and the short tutorial of my Adornable Elements Rotating Beads of the Month 2-hole bead club called Stormclouds. Now again, I will have a little bit more in-depth video coming out in a couple of weeks with some of these other beads. I'm kind of thinking I'm probably going to use these two and probably in a bracelet form or something. That's my thoughts. I'm not sure if that's what's going to happen or not, but stay tuned for within the next couple of weeks and I will have that video come out. I'll also have another video coming out here shortly of the other half of my Beads of the Month Club purchases, and that is the half that I actually purchased, which is the Gemstone Beads of the Month and then the Companion Findings Pack. So I'll have another video coming out for that here shortly too. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, especially if you would like to see some more videos. That helps out my channel greatly, as well as leave a comment. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.